Hi, everybody. It's Casey Cadaver here, and I'm here with the number 9 of the 31 on 31 horror movie series for Halloween Zombie Edition. Got my little zombie cup with a little pumpkin spice in it because I don't care who you are, shit's good. Save that for later. Well, ASMR for all you people. Um, and I had the pleasure of doing 28 years later. I did the 28 days later. Roxy got to do 28 weeks later. Got to do 28 years later. The most recent addition to the series. Um, a sequel we didn't think we were going to get. Um, I mean, it was years in the making, and it finally came out. And man, did it deliver on all fronts. You got to pick up where society was after everything, after the almost done outbreak. Um, Except that dude just had to get one last kiss from his zombie ass wife. Start all over again. We almost had a handle of it. And we thought we had a handle of it at the end of 28 days later. Like, they got rescued, supposedly. You never see them get rescued. Um, and then at the end of 28 weeks later, you see him, it seems, eradicated or at least contained. And then he gets infected. And now we're picking up where we assume the quarantine zone has survived. Uh, the only way they can, isolation on an island with a very narrow bridge, uh, with moderate um, scavenging, and that picks up a lot where the first one actually ended off, where they talked about um, one of the army guys was saying that they are quarantined. It's not happening to the rest of the world. It's just there. They contained it, but it's just London, Europe area, the UK maybe being on an island. And so this one picks up where that one is, and you get to see the kind of heroic idea of a father taking a son out to go hunting for the first time and learning to survive, and this rite of passage, and you get to see this joyous celebration event for this coming of age this kid's about to endure, going off their island and onto the mainland where infected are. Infected. And it's really cool to see that. How they perceive society would be after its collapse. Um, and watch them go over that long bridge is probably the most terrifying part of the movie to me. Because it's a long bridge to just be walking along. And if you ever been on a long bridge like that that's close to the water, you know the wind is whipping. If you fall off that thing, you're not getting back up. You're not getting back on, and you're not getting back up. But then they make it to the mainland, and start looking around and encounter a few animals, encounter a few infected, and the boy has to learn how to hunt. It's almost like if you ever play like God of War, it kind of feels like that. Father Sean going out into the wilderness where there's danger around every corner. And the introduction, I don't know whose idea this was, for like what seemingly is just a virus, like a rabid rabies virus esque infection, but to make the alpha zombies, the alpha rage infected, terrifying. Uh, for me, that's one of the first times I've seen like a variation in a movie. Again, it reminds me of like Dead Island, where they have a larger enemy, larger, tougher, more resilient enemy. Uh, they have to take down that doesn't fall down by your more conventional means. Um, and dude, these guys are ferocious and intimidating. and well hung. Well hung. It is. And you gotta love that. It adds to me nudity like that in a horror movie does add to the story because it gives the feeling of realism, um, and like vulnerability. But these guys are so big and tough, and a lot of the other zombies and infected are nude, but for good reason. Like clothes don't matter to them, societal norms don't matter to them, shame doesn't matter to them. They're basically feral animals at this point. So why would they be clothed? And if they were, and it just being torn and ripped at through running in the woods and just deterioration, that's going to happen. And especially when they become gigantic. I'm not sure if they disclosed if they got gigantic or if it was just larger people that turned, but it definitely were enhanced individuals. So being introduced to those was a surprise I don't think any of us were expecting from this movie, which is great. You come back after over a decade to reopen this world and reintroduce it to people and throw us all for a loop. That's good. That's fun. That's great. I love that. And then you have all these beautiful moments in between. Um, when they finally catch up with the lone survivor, um, out there by himself, the doctor who makes the skull tower and the skull bone yard, um, and it's just a sight to see. And I believe it was the kid's mother's skull. When she passed away, he brought it back to be part of the tower. Um, it's a beautiful moment. It is like to turn true primal horror into a truly unique moment to discuss our reaction and how we handled death, and just the human experience of life is pretty hard to pull off, and they did it incredibly well. Um, and then you got them trying to return to the island, which coming down that narrow bridge, getting chased by all the fast infected, that narrow bridge, and they prepared for it, and it works. It almost doesn't, but it works. Um, the movie's just incredible. I love the return. I love the idea of coming back to this world and see how it's progressed, or progressed, not regressed, progressed, um, and how much thought they put into it. This was not a sequel cash grab, which we've seen so much of recently. It was a passion project, as was the first one. The first one was a passion project of preferred low budget, um, and a vision. And this continued that. It felt very well thought out and executed. Um, I give it a solid 4.5 out of 5. Just to be that stickler that can't rate everything a 5 out of 5, but definitely a 4.5. Like a really good, like every bit of that movie, every corner turned, every bit of dialogue or action or rationale felt real and felt calculated. Um, I haven't walked out of a theater that satisfied in a while, especially by sequel. So that was cool to see. That was fun, and then that's the year of our Lord 2025. It's good to see a good movie like that. Well, they keep pumping out great horror, and I'm glad it made it to this list so we get to watch it again. Yeah, 4.5 out of 5. This is Casey Cadaver. Check with us later this week. We'll be doing another view for the 31 on 31. Thank you.